You're listening to Count Richard von Coudenhove Kalergi. Today is Saturday, the 8th of June, and here's a couple of comments since my last video. In Denmark, the Danish Justice Minister Søren Poulsen has admitted that his country has a big problem with migrants, criminals, and has defended new measures from the government designed to make deportations easier. The minister's statement comes in reaction to a study done by Danish media that discovered that Somalis were by far the largest foreign nationality to be convicted for violence, with 916 convictions between 2014 and 2018. And Denmark's largest right-wing party, the Danish People's Party, has presented a plan to introduce a complete halt to all asylum until to 2025, with over 4,000 arriving each year, and it's believed that this will save the economy up to €300 million. Sweden, that canary in the coal mine, 25 people were injured as an explosion rocks the Swedish city of Loping. Shockwaves from the blast, which took place around 9 a.m. local time. Luckily, most people were actually out of the apartment when it happened, destroyed windows and balconies and damaged other buildings. 20 ambulances were dispatched along with 6 fire tenders. Several people were hospitalised, but the extent and type of their injuries remains unclear. A total of 109 apartments from 2 blocks, one 4-storey and one 5-storey, had been damaged. No reporting of this over here, strangely enough. In Germany, the Christian Democrat politician Walter Lübeck, who became well known for supporting Angela Merkel's open door policy and had attacked those who criticised mass migration by saying, quote, "Those who do not share these values can leave this country at any time," has been found shot dead in his house in Kassel. The body of the 65-year-old was found in his back garden. In domestic issues here, a 54-year-old man who abused his former partner's intellectually disabled daughter has been jailed for 13 years. In sentencing, the judge noted that the mother of the child felt within her community intense social pressure to express a wish that the African man not go to prison, that she was also a reluctant witness and did not complete a witness impact statement on behalf of her daughter. The accused man maintained his innocence of rape and anal rape and sexual assault of the girl between dates in 2015 and September 2016 at home, when the victim was aged between 11 and 12 years old. The judge also noted that, according to experts and in a probation report, that the man had a high risk of reoffending and post-release from prison will be supervised for 6 years on strict conditions, including keeping away from activities involving under 18-year-olds. The man, who is the father of a number of children in Ireland and his home country, has previous minor convictions. I think 8 children in total. A Nigerian man who began raping his daughter when she was 9 years old has been jailed for 11 years. The man, who cannot be named to protect the identity of the child, has told Gardaí that she was a compulsive liar and that she enjoyed sex. The Dublin resident pleaded guilty at the criminal court last Tuesday to raping on dates between October 2011 and April 2017. In her victim impact statement, which was read out in court, she stated that her father controlled her and made her too afraid to report the attacks. She said that the rapes took place twice a week until she was 14 years old. After that, the victim went to the Gardaí. Her father told her that his daughter initiated the sexual activity by tickling him. He also denied providing pregnancy kits for the victim, who said that her father raped her on 10 occasions between taking one pregnancy kit and the other. If she refused, he threatened her by removing his belt and that he would beat her up. 11 people appeared in court, charged with over 200 counts relating to alleged rape, sexual assault and exploitation and neglect of children. 6 women and 5 men were arrested by Gardaí in stations in Munster this morning. Each defendant was ordered to surrender their passport and sign on weekly in different Garda stations and must be contactable 24 hours a day on their mobile phones. The driver of the lorry that killed a pedestrian on Collins Avenue in a hit-and-run accident, after the owner of the truck recognised it on social media, A 50-year-old man has been arrested the following day at his place of work as a man from Nigeria who's got 4 children in Ireland and 4 in Nigeria, and he has also applied for Irish citizenship. Also this week I had the pleasure of meeting one of my subscribers, downswing player, who very nice man, had some very interesting experience of working and living abroad and things that he observed, such as in Leicester in England. He was walking in a street one day and he was the only person on the street that wasn't foreign, which is quite a shock, as you can imagine. And the story of Longford and the school kind of reminded him of that, his own experience. So nice to meet you, and look forward to reading your comments in the chat. This week also saw the end of Ramadan, which ended at sunset on Tuesday evening. The dates are based on the lunar calendar and occur 11 days earlier each year. A month of fasting where no food or drink may be consumed during the hours of daylight, and celebrated with the festival al-Fid. Ramadan comes from the Arabic word Ramida, which means dryness, and is obligatory for all Muslims that have reached maturity, which in Islam is puberty, and must observe the fast, and must also refrain from smoking, sexual relations, swearing, lying, sinful behaviour, or fighting, except in self-defence, and all this during the hours of must be refrained from during the hours of daylight. And yet the 9th month of the Islamic year is usually one of the bloodiest, with 147 terrorist attacks in 26 countries that killed 739 and injured 648 people. One of the 5 pillars of Islam. Those who are exempt from Ramadan include the elderly, the pregnant, diabetic, chronically ill, or menstruating. Failure to observe the fast is taken so seriously that in some countries it is actually a criminal offence. In Kuwait, there is a 100 dinar fine and a 1 month in jail for those seen smoking, eating or drinking. In the UAE, failure to observe the fast may result in a punishment of up to 150 hours community service, and in Saudi Arabia, breaking the fast may result in jail, flogging and deportation of foreign nationals. According to Pew Research, in a study of 39 countries where Islam is the most dominant religion, an observant rate of up to 93% was recorded. And in the Quran it states that, quote, whoever does not fast during Ramadan without being sick or any other reason that allows him not to fast is more evil than the adulterer or the drunkard. Non-Muslims visiting Islamic countries do not have to partake in the fast, but eating in public would definitely be unwise, as this would be regarded as showing a lack of respect, and so would playing loud music from a car or dancing in public. It would be recommended, if staying in a hotel, to stock up on food, and it would be advised to dress in a more conservative manner, with quotes from the Quran such as chapter 9 verse 5, quote, when the sacred months have passed, slay the idolaters where you find them. And in chapter 3 verse 151, we shall cast terror into the hearts of the non-believers. It may be difficult to believe that Islam is a religion of peace when the message of Muhammad seems to be most quickly learnt when it is preached with the sword. This week also saw the arrival and departure of Donald Trump and his family on a 5-day trip to Europe to commemorate the 75th anniversary of the D-Day landings, spending 2 nights in his golf resort in Doonbeg. His visit to Ireland by all accounts seems to have been a great success, with his sons paying a visit to the 4 pubs in Doonbeg, a small town on the Atlantic coast of County Clare, now placed firmly on the map of those wishing to visit as many towns as possible on the Wild Atlantic Way, and getting a glimpse of the beauty of a small town enjoying its international guests. Starting with the meeting in Shannon Airport, where Mr. Trump met a rather uncomfortable looking, not my Taoiseach Varadkar. I'm reminded of the phrase, quote, never send a boy to do a man's job, and that's exactly what it looked like. Seeing that Mr. Trump had not my Taoiseach on 2 state occasions at St. Patrick's Day, maybe Mr. Trump will return the courtesy next year on the 17th of March by meeting him in the departure lounge of Washington DC Airport. His impromptu meeting of 27 school children and their 4 teachers, where he shook hands and posed for photographs with all of them, will be a memory that the children will never forget. At the Garden of Remembrance meeting on Thursday, protesting the arrival of Mr. Trump, the usual suspects were out in force, including Emmett Uldeg, pictured at the picture standing beside Eamon Ryan, and he was the man who called Peter Casey a bastard at the anti-racism rally in Ruski, holding a placard saying no to hate speech. On a note on the D-Day landings, 20,000 French civilians were killed taking Normandy, with the port of Le Havre suffering over 5,000 casualties and leaving over 80,000 people homeless. Between the aerial bombardment of the shore bombardment of the French coast by battleships, some firing a 750 kilo warhead from over 50-foot barrel at a rate of 2 rounds per minute at a distance of up to 15 miles. And on a personal note, I remember back in 1980, I had the privilege of meeting a German fighter pilot by the name of Adolf Galland, who shot down 103 aircraft and flew in the Battle of Britain. And he was such a heavy smoker that he had an ashtray installed in the cockpit of his Mi-109, and he was also shot down twice in the one day, thankfully surviving. But quite an interesting man, and he had an emblem of Mickey Mouse on the side of his aircraft, and he was the man that set up the first jet fighter squadron flying the Mi-262 jet, and crash landed his plane after he was attacked by a P-51 Mustang while trying to take off. And interestingly, Galland was the technical advisor in the film The Battle of Britain, who actually walked off the set during the making of the film when the character he was supposed to be played by gave a Nazi salute when exiting the train when he met Hermann Göring, which he said he never did. But a very interesting man. And after the war, he was arrested and charged for war crimes, which he was found not guilty, and lived in a castle in Bavaria that had a conference room that sat over 100 people at a table. I became very good friends with Douglas Bader, the RAF fighter pilot, and the two of them regularly used to attend golfing tournaments together. So there are a couple of thoughts which are my own. I noticed I have a couple of new subscribers this week, so welcome aboard. Thanks for your comments, and I got a plug there from Gran Torino during the week, so thanks for that. So my thoughts are my own. Thanks for listening. Good night and good luck.